call to order for certificate of appointment and oath of office of new and newly re-elected board members. Dr. Willenberg.
That was nice of you to come, Mike. It's so official now.
Raise your right hand. And I, what's your name? Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance, all right, to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations.
Is that what the president said when he did?
It's a bear.
Oh, yeah, I thought.
This is, what is it?
Oh.
Graduation requirement waiver, California Education Code Sections 51225.3, and pupil discipline, California Education Code Sections 48918/35146. We will be enclosed for approximately 1/2 hour.
So my cord is now on Scott's computer. Is that right? No, I don't care. I'm just wanting to give it to you. Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to the Orville Union High School District Board of Trustees meeting scheduled for Wednesday, December 14th. Results of closed session. There weren't any. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. This time we're going to hold our annual organizational meeting. It should just be a very short time here. Election of board president. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Well, are there any other nominations? Okay. All right. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Election of board vice president. I nominate Dr. Amber England. Is there any other nominations? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, election of board clerk. I nominate Bonnie King. Any other nominations? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Establishment of board meeting dates, times, and locations.
So right now, it's the third Wednesday of the month at 5:30 p.m. for closed session, 6 for open in the transportation complex.
Is there a motion for keeping them as they are? Any other nominations or suggestions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, board governance handbook.
So by law, at the organizational meeting, we have to review the governance handbook. We have given you that, the update to it, and it guides how the OUHSD board is conducted. So there's no vote or anything there. Or yeah, you have to approve it as part of the organization.
We have a motion for approval and a second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of agenda variance. We have a motion for approval. Second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Public hearing, there is none. Recognition and presentation. Los Plumas High School.
Mr. President, board, it is my honor to be here to recognize some of the most amazing students in Orville Union School District. My only regret is that I couldn't recognize more. I have a lot of students who are doing a lot of great things, but I picked 5. Actually, I didn't pick 5. My teachers picked 5 who are doing some amazing things. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Mr. Trenton Hoffman. Trenton is a 3-sport athlete here at Los Plumas High School. What's most impressive, as a matter of fact, I wanted to Trenton and Brian at the same time because the same teacher recognized both of them. And here's what she said, that while he's in Furman and Toning class, he makes it a point to work with our challenging students. So the students that come in there with disabilities, these guys, Trenton and Brian, are both 3-sport athletes. They're both very popular students on campus, but these guys go out of their way to make sure our students feel at home. Come on up, Trenton. Amazing. You got to. But they go out of their way to make sure our kids feel at home. And I didn't know this, but I was told there are times they'll actually go to those students' classrooms just to speak to those guys. They're great athletes, but they're high character guys. And I'm just glad they're a part of Los Plumas High School. I'm going to ask the Stick Angel to come. This is Brian's grandmother. I have a little thing I want to give both y'all. So let's give Trenton and Brian a round of applause. Thank you. Jaius Thomas is an exceptional student. He is an even better young man. He has been an active member of our Los Plumas community as a student athlete, both in basketball and football, as well as someone who always tries to help others when they are down. Jaius has never stopped working to improve his grades, his performance in sports, or his growth into adulthood. Los Plumas has many excellent students in many different ways of our school. However, I will be hard-pressed to find a student with a better attitude and such positive character and pure grit. That's what Mr. Tom Lewis said about Giants. Is Giants here? Absolutely. Come on back up, Christian Giants. Come on. They do. These are some amazing kids. Ellie Steele, she's in a this is from Miss Albrecht and Miss Grundy. She said she's always kind to people and always works very hard. She's always nice to all of her classmates and she participates in all daily activities. And even though math is not her favorite class, she always gives a great effort. Is Ellie here? Oh, she is. There she is. Let's give her a hand. And last but not least, this is what Mr. Payne said about M. Mr. Payne is incredibly proud of Emily and how she leads the band as our head drum major. She is determined, compassionate, considerate, and incredibly hardworking. Now listen to this. She volunteers her time during lunch and after school to ensure band members have a positive and fun experience. During her lunch, if they need help, she'll actually take time out of her lunch to help them. Amazing lady. This includes helping other band members learn multiple instruments or plan band events. Mr. Payne considers himself fortunate to have students like Emily in the band and is glad she is getting recognized for all of her hard work and dedication to Los Pumas High School. Let's give it up for him. And I gotta say it. Last year when she was trying out for drum major, I just remember how nervous she was because she was a sophomore. She was super nervous, and I remember seeing her take a deep breath. And man, I don't know how she did whatever she did, but she just did her thing. Man, it was amazing. These are some amazing students from Los Pumas High School. Let's give it up for all of them. Get a picture, baby. Come on over here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we have recognition of retirees, Lynn Davis, Tom Murphy. Are they here? Recognition of outgoing board president.
So, in recognition of Mr. John Davis, as president of the Oregon School Board of Trustees, for the previous year, 21-22, consider donating a book and get it on it to one of the libraries of the country. And it's the year chip, the story of the baseball, word is painted by the year of
Orville High School. I was there for 5 years as a student. Okay, non-action informational items and reports, board comments. Oh, yeah. Somebody here. Recognition of individuals who wish to speak on non-agenda items. If you want to speak on a non-agenda item, come forward. How many of? 4 of you, 5 of you? Okay. There's 7. Board policy is to limit to 50. If it's the same topic, it's limited to 15 minutes. Well, yeah. Yeah. we'll have you come up one at a time. If it's the same topic, it's limited to 15 minutes, board policy. So,
Please bear with me. I don't hear well, I don't see well, and my memory is a little foggy. But I do appreciate the opportunity to come and express my concerns about English teacher Marta Schaefer. English teacher.
hey, can I interrupt you just for a minute? Is this a topic that everybody wants to speak on? It is? Okay. Corey, at this time, would you make a statement? Because the board cannot comment on any personnel order or any, decisions. So,
So
before we start,
how should I address it then? Her?
no, you can, yeah, just the English teacher, that's fine.
Okay.
But I mean, what I'm saying is the board can't comment because it is personnel. But I
So-
would like Mr. Dr. Willenberg to start, since we're all on the same topic. If Corey can just make a statement, okay, prior to this, and then we'll let you talk, okay?
Okay.
It should just, won't take long here.
So one of the issues with curriculum is we have board adopted curriculum. We are ensuring that the board adopted curriculum is being taught. My principals are in the classroom at least daily or weekly, especially in English. We are trying to make sure that kids are being taught the board adopted curriculum. Our DOJ agreement says that we have to do walkthroughs. We have to document that we go in the classroom, kids are teaching standards, that they are teaching appropriately, and we do that. And I have to collect those walkthrough forms and send them to the Department of Justice. So, and then in the personnel issue, basically, contract and board policy guide what we can do with people. But we have looked into this situation and we are working on it. But does that help? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Okay.
sir, I need your first name.
My name is John, and kind of thrown me off here with a couple of the things, but I had some questions, but obviously you don't respond to questions. But I assume you're all aware of what this English teacher posted on social media. It made the national news. Now, I don't know, and I'd like to know, do you agree with some of her premises, such as proper English promotes white supremacy? Do any of you on the board agree with that statement that she made?
Sir, we can't respond. It's law.
Make the
I mean,
statement and
Okay, also, I take exception to it. I think it's ridiculous. Also, she made statements by her own admission that proper English is governed by arbitrary rules. This again, I think is ridiculous. I assume that I take that back. I assume that this teacher was hired to be an English teacher. But by her own admission, her aim is to undermine it. And by her own admission, teaching English, she is not teaching English. She is teaching ideology. So I don't consider this English teacher to be a teacher. I consider her to be an ideologue. And she has, in my opinion, no place in any classroom, not only here in Oroville Union High, but anywhere. And so I just got thrown off by all these things that you threw at me, and I'm sorry. I wasn't prepared in that manner. But I do feel very strongly that wokeism, I hate the word, has found its way to Oroville. And I don't think Oroville should tolerate it. I think it's evil, and I think it's ridiculous, and I just hope that this situation will be handled in a proper manner. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Can you, please say your first and last name?
My name's Karina Brown, and I am, just so happens that I'm a teacher from a feeder district. I agree with the man who just spoke. I wanted to remind the board about your mission. It says Oroville High School provides a safe, engaging environment that promotes high academic achievement and personal and social responsibility, as well as your vision. It's at Oroville High School, our vision is to assume that all students meet the social, emotional, physical, academic, and career opportunities of the 21st century. The English teacher that spoke, I felt that she was a failure for our students, that she believes that they cannot succeed, so that she needs to teach them in a different way, and I just feel like that was a colossal failure on her part. I also wanted to let the board know I could not find your contract online, because I was looking for the contract language to find out what reassignment was, or anyway, I couldn't find that online. So I thought that was rather interesting. Department? Okay. Okay, that's why I couldn't find it. All right, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dawn Wheeler, and I come to you as a credentialed teacher, a taxpayer, and a very concerned citizen living within these district walls. I became aware of a staff member you have hired, much to my embarrassment, through a nationally syndicated radio show. And to my further dismay, I was informed by the show's host she has even furthered her own social agenda through curriculum globally through TikTok. As a teacher, I know we may use some discretion to educate our students, but to use that discretion to further our own political agenda and mistakenly held personal beliefs upon the students of our community is not acceptable to me. To say that the rules of English writing impose white supremacy, misogyny, and colonization is utterly preposterous and extremely divisive. Her naive statements are not only full of assumptions, but divisive to our citizenry. The idea that organizing our thoughts as writers, including a thesis, an introduction, transition words, and backing them up with factual sources to present them in a strong, well-organized essay for clear communication, is actually a racial construct. This is most arrogant and ignorant. This, to only think one race believes this way, and therefore it is racial. The strength that we have as a community in Oroville, as a state and as a nation, does not come from making statements that divides us from any aspect of our individual selves by any of those aspects. You've heard it before, and I know it to be true. United we stand, and divided we fall. We are a wonderfully created human race with a singularly important trait that divides us from animals, and that is language. So that we can use this gift to its utmost ability, our thoughts must be constructed in a well thought out manner, familiar to all by principle. Think about it. Why do we have the same construct that red means stop and green means go? So that we can all work together in a fashion understandable to everyone. Her directive is to teach English to our students, to educate them in communication skills. And in this way, they profess their own thoughts in an organized, thoughtful, perhaps emotional voice, but in a factual manner that gives their ideas strength. Our students deserve to be heard, but no one pays heed to an unorganized, unproven, emotionally based rant. For the sake of our students' quality of education and the advancement of our community, do not allow her, please, to further her own small-minded political agenda in this countless classroom. Thank you.
speaker, please?
My name is Gwen Gonzalez, and I'm a concerned citizen. I'm a mom and a grandma. I have kids that go to public schools, and I'm concerned. Um, the job of the educational system is to teach our children so that they'll have the tools to be ready to go out into the world and make a good life for themselves. One of those tools is having a good grasp of the English language. There are rules and order to writing that need to be taught. That is our job, to teach our children well so they can lead productive and happy lives. We have an English teacher at Orville High that not only doesn't teach the curriculum that the district has approved, but she teaches against it. She believes that any way you want to write is fine. Write like you text, write like you think. You don't need structure. That's not going to go well when a student graduates and tries to get a job in the real world. This is not only true of the English language, but every language has structure. Structure is what makes a book interesting, a report understandable, an agenda orderly. This type of teaching needs to be dealt with. I understand that she is a tenured teacher, and I know how hard the union is to work with, but for our children, we must stand against this leftist woke ideology. It is decisive and crippling. Please, I beg you to do something about this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Mark Wisterman. I come before you tonight to warn you of a cancer that was recently discovered lurking in the plain sight in our school district. Cancer that, like all other cancers, if left untreated, will rapidly suck the life out of its host in a very short period of time. A cancer that doesn't attack the lungs, nor the pancreas, nor the liver, and can't be treated with medicines, surgeries, or radiation. At one point, it was a disease so rare that very few people took it seriously. Until, however, it was discovered that this type of cancer is contagious. And those that risk of contracting it are children between the ages of 5 and 25. This cancer has been dubbed critical race theory, but to be more accurate, it should really be called critical racist theory. As the symptoms of this disease is a desire to pit one set of students against another set of students based solely on race, through the espousement that all society's ills are caused by white supremacy, misogyny, and colonization. This mental cancer is carried into our high schools and elementary schools by some graduates of our institutions of higher learning who are employed as teachers, but in too many cases, in truth, are propagandists. Now, I do not fully blame these propagandists, as they too were once innocent bystanders until they were indoctrinated at the college level, a little like Stockholm Syndrome. Now that this cancer is here, you are charged with the task of purging this cancer from this district before it spreads further. The steps you must take include sanctioning any teacher who blatantly and belligerently disregards the curriculum he or she was hired to teach and makes political statements that are not germane to the subject matter at hand in an effort to intimidate students into agreeing with him or her. You must also be abundantly transparent to your constituents through your actions and how you intend to deal with these matters now and when they occur in the future. You must be willing to stare directly into the face of the teachers union and tell them that this behavior among some of their membership will not be tolerated. And regardless of the cost, you must be willing to terminate any teacher who refuses to perform the job they are paid to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there one other? Does that wrap up that topic?
Most of the speakers just walked up here and touched on what I'm going to ask you guys tonight. My name is Willie Ely. So my question here tonight is, by show of hands, simple thumbs up, how many of you here reside in Oregon on the board?
We have
Okay,
to, yeah.
good. So how many of you here been live here for 20 years plus? Okay, good. So tell me what you guys have done to make the education system better for our children here in Orville. data I pulled up. High schools in Oroville have an average ranking of three. That's a score of 0 to 10. 3 out of 10, which is in the bottom of the 50% of the California public high schools. Oroville, California's public high schools has a graduation rate of 77%, which is less than the California average of 85%. The school with the highest graduation rate in our district is Oroville High School with 91% rate. Our district rankings for academic progress, college readiness, test scores is 4 out of 10, below average. Who's being held accountable for our district's poor scores? Isn't this your job to oversee our children's academic progression? This is why I asked the questions at the beginning. How many of you are from here? If you are from here, you should be invested in our children's education and in our community. Don't you want better future for our children? I'm a proud father of 3 student athletes. Keyword student athletes, and they have student first, athlete second. Our children deserve to have deserve better than what they're getting in this town. Last thing, seeing the conditions firsthand at Las Plumas High School, the athletic fields. Why are the facilities in such poor condition? Why do our kids not have lights at the baseball and football and soccer practice fields? This is why so many parents here move their student athletes to other towns, out of this town, due to better opportunities there, academically and athletically. Lost so many kids over the years because staying here isn't an option anymore. It just isn't. So people voted you guys here to make better decisions on behalf of our children and their future. To build a strong community starts at home first, and I understand that. Hold the standards, which I do for my children, and I'm hoping that the school would do their jobs. I thought about this. Our children they're at school, probably student athletes, probably about 12 to 14 hours. So teachers and coaches have those kids there. They come home, do their homework, and take their showers. So we have them probably about 2 to 3 hours, and then to bed. They're back to school. So I guess I'm just going to, hoping that something changes. But I hope you guys do something, because I honestly love this town, and there's so much potential here, and our resources continue to get pulled to other towns because of what's going on at the high school level. That's all I got to say.
Anyone else wish to speak?
Well, he kind of touched on a bunch of what I had written down, which was about our facilities being nasty, and our baseball fields. The new gym is a mess. We've had issues with our baseball fields out at Las Plumas. If you go to a baseball game at TV or Chico, and you look at their baseball field and their dugout and their scoreboard, it's embarrassing. And then when we host tournaments at our school, we might have a working bin toilet, I guess is what it is, porta potty. We don't do snack bar. We don't do anything. We don't have the scoreboard up. I brought this up to Corey when I met with him back in November, that PCP had donated the scoreboard, but one of the employees is not allowing that to go up, and I don't understand why that is. We don't want to be embarrassed when other people come in. I mean, it's just sad. The other issue is, when I was in school and played sports, we rode a bus to our out-of-town games. We don't have that for our kids. They're struggling. There's a basketball tournament that starts tomorrow morning that they're scrambling trying to find parents. And I'm not understanding why we don't have the buses or vans games. I don't understand that. I understand that a lot of the bus drivers are quitting, the mechanics are quitting. The ones that are still there are currently looking for jobs because of the way one person treats them, which is sad that that's being allowed. But something has to change. I mean, you guys are losing a lot of good people at the school district because of how things are being allowed to be ran. And then my other one was when I was there last month, I brought up about the athletic probation stuff, but I have not heard anything at all on that matter. So I wanted to see. I don't know if you guys can tell me anything. I don't know how that works. Right. So how does that work when you have student athletes that legitimately struggle at school? So they're being punished double because they're struggling and they don't understand things? That's not fair. Which is why the CIF guideline is 1 in 3 years. So that doesn't make sense. That's not, it's, you just put one every year. Sorry, I said that wrong. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense when you have kids that struggle. So they don't get to play sports because they're struggling in school. I work very closely with the counselor and with the school. So that's not the situation. And no, it doesn't make sense to keep it at 1 in a 4 year when kids struggle.
Corey, how soon will that be brought to the board? By January.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak tonight? Okay. Now we have recognition of individuals who wish to speak on agenda items. No one? Okay, number 10, board comments. I'd like to say I really appreciate parents that care and show up for this. Wished I was at liberty to say more. One thing that's always kind of concerned me is like, I mean, change will happen through you. That's how change will happen. And one of the things I've always thought would make sense is during the negotiations, you know who's not at the table? I'm talking with the teachers union and the districts. You know who's not there? The people that pay for everything, you people. And I think that would be, that would change the tone of negotiations. That's, it's just, yeah. Yeah, I also like to add, um, I think from the district's point, we need to be a little stronger, a little more consistent on what we allow and don't allow. I totally agree with that. And that is being worked on. And I personally don't think any teacher, whether you lean to the right or to the left, I don't think the student should know that. That's not that's not in what they're teaching. So I, you know, I'm not talking about this situation. I'm talking about any. So that's Corey. Do you have any response to that?
I haven't seen them lately, but I will have the principal.
But I mean, is there anything that protects that being done?
You are on a First Amendment issue with something, so that's what we have to be careful with. I have looked at had an attorney look at the issue, said it is a First Amendment issue. If they're not preaching it and it's just hanging on the classroom, there's not a whole lot.
Well, so let's say this. Since we live in an offended society now, if anyone is offended by any flag, can they have the power to have it removed?
I'm not sure if we can check into that.
Please do.
Well, I think that's an issue. Gang colors are an issue. Those are easy ones. When you start talking about LGBT and back to the badge, or the blue flag, or the army flag, then we get into different things.
Things like SWAT. That is
Somebody has to have an answer for us. That's what I'm saying. There should be an easy to follow, consistent. Yeah. Agreed. Anyone else on the board? Well, I would recommend have you gone to the principal? Okay. Any other board comments? Dr. Wallenberg.
Welcome, Mr. Smith, as our new board member. We a couple of people brought up about the facilities at Las Plumas. If you have been at Las Plumas, you see piles of sand. We couldn't do anything with the practice field until football was over. And we have sand. We borrowed a sanding machine from Calusa Unified, and we're going to go through and work on that field and the Beckville field with sand and aerating it and trying to fix it. Then, once the weather clears up, I've talked to maintenance about fixing the baseball field. Lights is a big dream. I would love to have lights. It's $1 million full, so we're trying to figure out how to do it. So we're working on the facilities. Someone brought up buses. For tournaments, we usually bring vans for transportation. Our first priority is home to school. I have 6 routes. I have trained more bus drivers, so now we're starting to use buses when we can. But for the small sports like wrestling and that, they like to use the vans. So we're trying to provide transportation. There's a procedure, and don't know if the coaches followed it or not, but we try to get kids vehicles to get to so that the parents don't have to be hauling kids around because that's a liability. So we are working on that. We had 2 more drivers get approved with a bus license last month, and we're working them into the regular rotation. We are working on arts and block music block grant. We're going to put a survey out hopefully tomorrow that seeking input from people on how we should prioritize this money. And it could be art, it could be music, it could be curriculum, it could be operational costs. So when you see it in Parent Square, please fill it out. It will also be on our website. So community members can go to the OUHSD website and fill it out. We're also looking at Prop 28. It was on the ballot for art and music education. It's ongoing money. It's about $400,000. We're using this survey to help prioritize the need for both pots of money. So that should be coming out. We'll develop priorities with all the stakeholders, and then we'll figure out how to spend the different pieces. Perfect attendance. We had random drawings. We had so perfect attendance for October. We had 128 students with perfect attendance at LP and 103 at Orville. So we did a random drawing for a Starbucks gift card. And then in November, we had 157 LP students with perfect attendance and 117 Orville students with perfect attendance. We awarded them with a random drawing of Starbucks. We received $40,000 from Butte County Charitable Trust for technology, so we're going to purchase Chromebooks to replace some of the Chromebooks that we have now district-wide. We're working on updating the athletic handbook, and then we're working on sand and the weather. We're asking the weather to be cooperative. That's all. Thank you, Cardi. Dr. Watson.
At the last board meeting, it was brought up about availability of teachers at IEP meetings, 504 meetings, SEC meetings, things like that. And there was some questions asked that I wanted to answer, at least what I found out. So I dove into that question. I talked to our sites, I talked to some of our case carriers, and just kind of picked their brain. Several questions as to what's going on, what's that look like. In a perfect world, we'd love to have every teacher that a student sees at an IEP meeting or whatever. That is not I've ever seen it happen for many different reasons. One of the biggest reasons why we struggle to get teachers there, especially right now, is shortage of subs and coverage of classes. So the way our IEPs are scheduled, sometimes prep periods don't align with case carrier, case management periods, and so we'll have to cover classes. We've already got a whole group of teachers out. We've got teachers covering the teachers. So then we don't have any more teachers to cover the teachers so they go to meetings. And so that's the number one struggle with getting our teachers there. By law, we have to have one teacher there at the minimum. It's not the ideal always, but it's the minimum. Where we struggle also is sometimes getting the teacher that the student is the most loved at that schedule on the line, all kinds of things. In all transparency, we do have teachers that may or may not like to go to IEP meetings, 504 meetings. In a perfect world, we'd all love to be there. But unfortunately, we have some that may or may not. That's part of their contract. They are, I have to look at the language specifically, but it's the day. Yeah, so we have enough of them that we have to schedule all of them. So we have a dedicated person, and that's basically what we do every day. So we do try to have some before school, so they can here, especially with like the Bible school but again, it's sometimes we have
there, we have sick or absent or whatever, so we're not always there. We can track attendance at these meetings based on invites and with every IDP meeting and final board meeting, we have sheets they sign to pick up what they're doing. So we do have people who track who's coming and who's not coming. And so we're looking to kind of trend that with teachers who's shouldering the burden, who's not. And so, and we rely on the board president to help coach that up. One of the other things that I asked the teachers and the psychologists, what are some ideas? One of the big things comes down to is sometimes teachers just get busy and they forget. So we're going to look at ways that we can set years and years and years at least remove that very task. Potentially. So the parents request anybody they want. And so if there is a specific parent request, the FDA so I think that's one thing that has, and our case carriers know and our sites know that honestly people struggle to do a better job. So there are some little trends. So we're gonna, as part of our continuous improvement process that we're going through, we are looking at the IEP process as a whole. So how do we communicate better? How do we IEPs that are more effective and engaging and in the classroom? So we're going through the whole process to try to build a more efficient system. So this will be addressing as well. Any questions about that process? No, so like, yeah, you have IEP meetings, it's very individualized. Then you have 504 meetings, disclosure, kids will be in conversations with medical reasons. So like the kids with diabetes, kids who are 504 safety insurance stuff, and then an SST is a student study. Basically, these are meetings we have with kids who are struggling with academics or behavior or those types of things. We're trying to bring in all the teachers, parents, kids, and really try to work with them to build a plan and try to help them. So, with anything, are there holes in the process? Absolutely. Yep. I'm shooting for it. But yeah, but along those same lines, now we've kind of got some of the compliance issues either done or really close to being done. Now one of the things I'm doing is the process. So we just get back up to the identification process. But that's kind of my goal, is to ensure that in the future we can
Item 13, DOJ update.
So just a quick DOJ update. We have a quarterly meeting with the Office of the Attorney General in January. It's yet to be scheduled. We have to publish the first semester data for attendance, grades, and discipline in January. So we will be sending that out to people via the like Last year, we had 234 total suspensions and 6 total expulsions. This year, first semester, we're at 9 expulsions and 92 suspensions, and we're working with DOJ on our deliverables, like translations of policy. We have to report complaints every month and how we resolve complaints if we've resolved them. And so we're still working on that, and we're still under the stipulated agreement until August 29th. That's all I have.
And a drive update, Courtney.
Yeah. So we had Thrive come in, and it's an all-year process, but the first step of this process for reimagining high school in the Orville Union High School District. And so what we had them do, turn it on, it helps, huh? So we had them, how do we create high schools in Orville? These are the questions we use to frame the work. How do we create high schools in Orville that inspire and prepare students for great futures? How do we create sustainable, thriving high schools that attract and retain students and families? How can we redesign the experience so students and staff want to work and learn here together? And how do we create a school where students and staff feel a sense of belonging and proud to be here? A lot of points that parents brought up tonight. We are working on this. So, our framework with Thrive is understanding context. So they met with 1,000 people, either via phone or in-person meetings here in Orville or via Zoom. 2024. Shaping the vision, we're going to bring together leadership, staff, and community to arrive at a portrait of a graduate. So that's what we're working on now. And then we're going to set priorities and align to existing work to present suggestions for implementation. So our stakeholder map. So board members we're talking to, leadership staff we're talking to, staff at all of the schools we're talking to, not just once, but multiple times, students, families, community members, community organizations, elected officials, and businesses. We did it through survey, we did it with in-person meetings, we did it in phone interviews. So, the trends that Orville community identified in this process so far is students need a plan for the future. There's a workforce shortage. We have low engagement. We need for real world skills and experiences. We have a lot of impact of the natural disasters over the last 4 years. Increasing poverty and decreasing stability at home. Mental health issues. Need for relationships with adults. Negative impact of technology and decreasing emotional quotient skills. So, students, what do students love about their school in this district? Teachers and staff, friends, school spirit and community, classes, clubs, and activities, FFA, cheer team, football, sports, ag department, basketball, wrestling, culinary arts, driving class, art, weight training, ceramics, and the Harvest Festival. Wellness Center and the tutors, food trucks, diversity, music before class at the bell, the 6-minute passing, with a minute to go, each school plays music, so kids know that they have to be calm. Small town and nature and consultation in Orville High School. And Orville High student said, what I love about my school is how friendly the teachers are. It's really easy to work with them and ask for help when it's needed. So, they did from each school, from Community Day, Plymouth, Prospect, and Orville, when they talked to the students, the big words are the things they heard the most. So an LP fun, Prospect fun, Orville fun, the things that we did here, food, cleanliness of bathrooms, different curriculum, more CPE pathways. So, student suggestions and concerns, life skills and future vision, taxes, credit, bank, resume, job opportunities, internships, how to use the FAFSA, that's the financial aid application, avenues if not going to college, field trips, CTE classes, and plan when entering the profession. A clear college pathway, what classes we need, what grades we need, how to apply, help with application, what grades we need. Culture and safety, less fighting, better discipline, more accountability, bullying, especially against LGBTQ and streets of color, and bathroom issues. More bathrooms, gender neutral options, and others. More activities, clubs, classes, technology, drama, choir, art, boys volleyball, makerspace, ROP, more languages, and community service. So that's what they've gathered through their information problem. Parents and community members love the small town. The staff cares about kids, school spirit, activities, classes and sports, diversity, and community supports each other. The community ideas, suggestions, and concerns, parity, more equal treatment and outcomes. Between schools, one system of great education, not just solo moments. For discipline, dress code focuses on girls, student supervision, student suspension heavy on kids of color, student of color experiencing racism. Career skills and pathways, more career skills focus, technology, medical pathway, rangers and parks, recs and careers. Clear focus on life skills, being a good person, life skills, job ready skills, community connection through internships, community service, and field trips. Rigor and integrated critical thinking. SEL and well-being, suicide prevention, anti-bullying, mental health, focus on kindness and connection, a path to address drugs, fights, and safety, and others. More drama, choir, art, ROP, languages, technology, better football. So the staff loves the small town, the students and colleagues, and the resilience through hard times. And an LP staff member said the sense that we're in this together is a great well of resilience in this community. So the staff ideas and suggestions and concerns is life skills, future vision, credit bank, CTE, life skills. Career and college and career skills. Students have options for the future. FAFSA, avenues if not going to college, resume, job opportunities, internships. Deeper hands-on learning, critical thinking skills in all subjects, tech skills integrated, rotation through some shop spaces or creation of a makerspace, community service and field trips to inspire students. Culture, community, and safety. SEL in all places to address suicide, bullying, emotional quotient skills, racism, stress, depression, drugs, and fighting. Advisory and or new ways to leverage social workers, school resource officers, and marriage family therapists to build community and create positive discipline. Kids perceive a lack of discipline, lack of accountability, and an integrated plan to address safety and culture and safety. Students disrespectful towards teachers, not held accountable, staff not feeling safe, and re-engage the community. Staff and students feel disengaged and not excited about a common future. So, what are the emerging trends in the world? What changes do we see in your community? How can Orville High School contribute to those changes? And what trends and innovations may impact our future in the working life ahead? So then, after we received this step, then all of our principals met with their staff, and they're designing a portrait of a graduate. So students at Leeds Prospect High School, or Los Plumas High School, or Orville High School, what does the graduate look like? So they're working on that right now. They met with, the principals met with their staff at the last faculty meeting. They sent that information to the Thrive people. We should have something for you in January with our next step of a portrait of a graduate. And then hopefully in March, we'll have a plan on next steps. Questions on Thrive?
website for it?
I know all the surveys were on the website. This next step,
You make this, put it on the website. Okay, old business, there is none. Consent calendar, recommendation for approval. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. New business, item 24, the 23-24 school calendar year. Dr. Lowenberg.
so we brought a draft of the 23-24 school calendar to the board last month. We have discussed this with feeder schools. We have vetted it with all of our staff, and we've made the November 16th board meeting, we've changed. There were no comments received, and so we're asking for approval for the 23-24 calendar.
Do I have a motion for approval? Second, comments or questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item 25, first interim report, Dr. Watts.
That the board approved in June. So there's a lot of changes. It looks a lot different as when you adopted the budget. The state of California hadn't even adopted their budget. So this would include any changes that weren't included in the May revision when the governor approved those changes. So just looking at the general fund summary, our ADA is estimated to be 2,114. So that's what our funding would be based on. Enrollment is 2,347 in October, which is down 81 students from the year before. Our anticipated count, so those are the students that bring in other income, supplemental income, the homeless, the 300 students, lost students. Our percentage is 81%. So that's up from 76. We've been in the 70s for the last few years. So the percentages are up, and I think a lot of that our person who's collecting the data is doing a really great job at identifying those kids and figuring out where we're missing students, and so I think that's also helping. This our local control funding sources went up about 5.6 million. That's due to many things, or a few things. One of them is the state budget, that we didn't know when we adopted our original budget, provided ADA relief. So even though we were experiencing increased enrollment, our ADA was once kids came out of being at home during COVID, they came back to school, but they weren't engaged, or we were doing partial programs, or they were school for partial days, and so we were experiencing declining ADA, which affects our revenue. So the state came in and to try to help districts, they did this one-time relief for the 21-22 school year, where they applied the attendance yield from the 1920 school year, which was at that point out before COVID, and supposedly more applicable to what would normally happen. And so they applied that attendance yield factor, and that increased our revenue growth with a one-time payment. But then that also, when that increases our ADA, we're funded at, now it's a little bit different than it used to be, but either the current year, the higher of the current year, the year before, or a 3-year outage. So that increased our 3-year outage, which also increased our funding estimate, which that helps us out. And then the state also added a 6.7% augmentation to the core. So that's been added to the LCFS calculation, which is our main source of general fund
recognition every year. I mean, so we give a grade on based on the goals and stuff.
For that.
So it's grades on what funds are
Well, that funding is also, it doesn't increase another 6.7 next year, but that 6.7 is
never goes down.
Well, it typically doesn't go down, but some years, and you might see this, some years in the near future, if the state doesn't have enough money to supply the total that we're supposed to get, well, deficit at that. So, they'll say, either you were really supposed to get 2%, or you were not.
So that's the case of it.
We do, and then, in those years, whether it's budget cuts or layoffs, those kind of things, to try to balance the budget. The good part about that is that it's better to stay, that's accounted for, and I think it's but there is a point in time that it should be a little larger. They are, yes, they are, and we'll know more, the governor comes out with this proposal, so we'll know more about what they're doing as far as, what the state. We do, we use those in the multi-year projection, that's what we start with, we start developing our budget next year, and then, state, we have to staff, they when they have more information, then they revise, and that's usually what the original budget is. After that, the state will come on with our budget. Right, right, right. It is, but when you get a COLA, that is on its own. This budget also adds carryover funding from the year before, all the remaining balances have been updated. With the carryover funding, increases will go up. Those are usually based on categorical programs, so those will get spent and in the year, or in the year that they come in. We increased some funding, we received some more COVID funding related to special education, and then I increased the budget for teaching infrastructure fund. The state has provided funds for the food service department, and the minimum grant is $100,000 equipment, infrastructure changes to accommodate changes in equipment, and so we'll be setting our priorities on what we want to do to improve our system. The budget has been revised to include staffing, where we have been able to, vacancies have been filled, so we're no longer estimates, we have to those positions. I increased the budget for the contracts that we've been approving for the nurses and LVS and the paraeducators, because we haven't been able to find employees for those positions, so it's not something else for the company. And then the purchase of, we did a lot of purchasing of accessible resources this year for that. So if you look at the general fund, we're looking at ending the year with $19 million. That's before we get the employee settlement that we're negotiating, trying to negotiate right now. Some of that is restricted, it belongs to the Medi-Cal reimbursement program, those are categorical programs, expanded learning opportunities grant, the A to G access grant, some of those are multi-year grants, so we're estimating that we'll be spending those over a period of time, so they'll get rid of balance this year, and then our scholarship fund, which now resides in the general fund. And then we have $22,000 assigned for vehicle replacement, and then the $46,000 donation for lighting for the baseball and softball fields. With that project, and then we reserved 17% for the economic uncertainty, and then the board reserve 9.8 million in unrestricted funding. And that, once the settlements are known, that amount will increase. The adult ed fund was, we were made budget adjustments for additional funding they received, and their current staffing, they're budgeting for basically a balanced budget, so they should end the year with about the same amount, $788,000 that they had anticipated for. The cafeteria fund, we adjusted for current staffing levels. We're estimating they're receiving more state revenues when the state adopted their budget. They put out the requirement that all students be free, which we were doing, but not all districts were doing that. And then they supplemented their funding to make up for the additional costs of the program, so you benefit from those adjustments. We also adjusted for their current staffing levels, and they're actually estimated to end the year with a profit. So they are, we're looking at them being self-employed. And then the capital facility summary, the only adjustment this time was the budgeting of the Harrison tractor turkey station. And that looks like, or it's estimated that they'll take all the money in the RDA, part of it, we have the RDA budget, and the capital facility plan, and the developer fee budget. We're not touching the developer fee budget for the RDA. It will take all the money that comes reserved there. We'll probably be short about $300,000 because we have the general fund. $100,000 has been sitting there. You had reserved back for Harrison years ago. So using that $100,000, so we'll probably making up about $200,000. And then the multi-year projection, you will see the very last page. You'll see the estimated balances increasing each year. And that's because we'll have employee bargaining group settlements that will affect those that are reflected. So I haven't made any projections of salary that will affect that, taking the balance that's going to increase pretty significantly over those years. So if you have any questions, let me know, and want to be able to have to certify, you can see something on the certify that we'd be able to do all of those this year and the future.
Okay, do I have a motion for certification? Is there a second? Comments or questions? Dr. Watts? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item 26, resolution regarding the county developmental fee 21-22 in the capital facility fund. Dr. Watts?
Okay, I'm going to bring it up. So we do a report of required to do a report of the developer fees every year. So this is on last year's developer fees. We, every time we have development for residential or businesses, we charge a square footage fee to be able to accommodate future growth in the district. So new buildings, parking, those kind of improvements. If you look at the very last page, you can see that we started the year with 1.2 million. We had $9,000 in interest. We had an accounting entry change in value of investments of 39,000. We collected 620,000 in school impact fees, and we had expenditures of 855,000. And the breakdown of the expenditures, we spent about $5,500 on a justification study, which we're required to do every 2 years if we're increasing fees to the state approved rates. We purchased the property on the corner of Washington and Mitchell, and we did the Lordville High School gym HVAC project. That was $585,000, and then we transferred out the UCD. So so you're allowed to do 3% for the collection on the, so that universe assessment, not 50.
Okay, recommendation approval of resolution 7/1923. Do I have a motion? Second. Comments or questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item 27, contract for legal consultation services.
So the district currently contracts with the Erickson Law Firm out of San Diego for negotiations and personnel, both CSEA and OSDA. Effective January 1, 2023, this firm is merging and will become McDougal, Bomer, Foley, Lyon, Mitchell, and Erickson. And we're recommending approval for this contract for the upcoming year.
Do I have a motion? Second.
Second.
Comments or questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item 28, agreement with Plymouth County Office of Education for network and IT administration services.
Okay, so our instructional program has become very dependent on technology. We're now providing Chromebooks for every student. They're, doing work on those. Their curriculums are provided on the Chromebook. And so we were approached by Plymouth County Office of Education to share the cost of the network and IT which would help keep our networks up to date, monitor traffic, optimizing all the network hardware, software, communication, with links to the students or the operating system. It's difficult when our systems are down. We've got complaints with the doctors where somebody wants to probably get our electricity back. So everything is being done, on our laptops, desktops. So the proposal is to share the cost of the network administrative fees of 50% of the individual's time. The first year would be $62,000 prorated, it'll be a partial year, and then after that, it would be approximately $30,000. And that would adjust each year based on COLAs and changes in salary and costs. That Foster County Office of Education would negotiate. So the person is, the person is employed by Plymouth County, so we would be
Okay, recommendation for approval. Do I have a motion? And a second. Comments or questions?
we don't have we have contacted the County Office of Education for a much lower coverage. So we did educate what we have. And they have been great when we have issues providing for time test. So we just definitely have more time than on a weekly basis.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item 29, request for dual enrollment courses with CSU.
So the district is participating in the supporting effective educator development. So we're trying to increase the teacher pipeline grant to improve teacher pipeline. The focus of this grant is to increase the number of students that would enter the teaching profession after earning their bachelor's degree. CSU Chico would like to offer a dual enrollment class, EDTE, Educational Technology, 265, exploration of teaching and learning in diverse K-12 settings for Oroville Union High School District students. We would have to supply a teacher, and they would supply a professor 2 to 3 days a week to teach our kids in the district. So we can do all the schools. Hold it at one campus, depending who the teacher record is, and bring kids over with transportation. And so we're recommending.
Got a motion? Second. Comments or questions?
To either Orville or LP process, wherever it's located in the district.
So we'll probably use van, because it won't be that, we'll have more van drivers than we have. Probably kids taking the class.
it'll be a 1-year class and it's 3 years, or 3 credits. The class is a 1-year class. We hope to make it 1 year, but I don't know how long they'll frame.
Item 30, MOU with American Honda Motor.
So Orville High School has been selected by the American Honda Motor Company to be the only high school Honda program offered in the West Coast next year. So he didn't write a grant; he was just selected for this process. So Honda modules shall be incorporated in the district's automotive program. Mr. Briggs and I met with Honda, and he's good with it. He doesn't have to buy special equipment, and Honda's going to work with making sure that the students have all of the tools to do the module. And this is cool because they can earn a technician certificate that will follow them for the rest of their life. They'll get a Honda number, and so they apply for a shop in Carson City, Nevada that's Honda. That number follows them, and that dealer can look them up and say, hey, they have certifications in this, this, and this. And so we are recommending approval for this.
Do I have a motion? Question, this is great. I love it.
Maybe we're going to go first year and start small, because if you look at the curriculum that's in it, these kids are going to have to do a lot of things. The Honda Motors representative was impressed with our shop. He was expecting a hobby shop when he came in at Orville High, because he said that's what a lot of those shops in Southern California are like. Yeah, and he just came in and went, he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe the tools and the equipment that this man had, and they were just blown away. So they are excited about the project.
Yeah. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item 31, amended personal assignment order. I have a motion for approval. And a second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item 32, items for next agenda. I got a couple questions. Willie, were you number 55? You weren't? Football. Anyway, my first belief, I believe Mr. Lulu is right. I think some of our facilities lack, except for our stadium, football stadium. You can't shoot the kids down there, too. But I think it would be wise to at least look at this. What is our reserve at right now? Yeah. What percentage? Okay, does it slow every year? Some- Kind of like that cola. What's happening? So we're gonna spend some of our one-time reserve money on one basis. Increase growth. Take from the big stuff. That is equal growth. Right? I know it's good.
And also, we have the one-time list, and we're using one-time money to fund that. So we are using that on facility at now.
Well, I'm thinking, it would do this town, I think it's a lot of good town. A lot of these kids are enthusiastic, those, something like that, feeling good about what we have. Top facilities, you know, to not Band-Aid that put sand on it, so to fix it, okay? When you have to fix it, turn the stuff all the time, have to do it. I think it'd be wise before just to look at our reserves, look at what we do, start getting all these facilities. Who do you like? Other people pay. How do they pay for life? $1 million a pool? One pool. One pool. I'll do it for one person. That's a rough estimate. Okay. I think it's worth looking into. If we have some reserves that we can, you know, board can agree upon, and maybe some of these facilities, bring them up to, you know, to where we can, what is, I mean, what were the, some of the stuff is pretty,
Well, and we do the light on the one time. We do have the light on it. It does become more expensive because in a school district, whenever you put anything into the ground, the amount of that has to go under the ground is crazy. And, you know, all of that has to go because it's up above. It's going to have to go through the state office and
absolutely.
you know, all of that. So
Other districts do. So we need to figure out ways to do it.
right,
Not
it
say,
is on our list.
not say it's too expensive, you can't do it. That's what they're looking for. Yeah.
And we brought that back last month.
Well, can we look at the guys? That's what I'm saying.
What is our what is it called? Reserve. I think, like I just said, I can give you an exact number until I spend
Okay.
percent. We keep 17.
Well, okay, so let me put this way. That is what
Yeah. We did lower it, and then I brought it back to
I know
within,
you did.
within the last year.
I know.
Because, you know, the recommendation is 17%. And so, you know, from the government agencies through Big Mat, through school services.
I'm not
Okay,
here.
so- so let's,
Well, right, because if you have declining enrollment or you're going into a recession, you know, those are what save you. Because you can't make cuts quick enough when those come because you don't have enough advance.
so why don't we consider those as different ratings?
We do consider it. I mean, we have that 70%, it's there. It's not like we have to grow it, it's there. And we did that through, you know, getting the COVID money, and we used that to do some operational costs. So we,
Not sure.
we always keep 70%. It's the unrestricted portion. So the 17% is accepted. What we have to work with is what's falling into that.
You know what other local districts?
I think it's a variety. I think, you know, the school services, well, you're saying most of the things that they do an average. You know, they look at elementary, high school, but it's over.
So, 3%? Yeah. That's how it
There's no, I'm not talking money, I'm talking. If you got a good facility,
Well, and
picking up the best, it's good or something.
right, and we're not saying that we don't have the money, it's, you know, what the priorities are, when we brought the priorities to you, we were recommending, you know, funding the safety items first. And so we've been working through that, we've done, you know, a lot of bits and deals, we had that safety study done, and there were recommendations there. And so we tried to address those concerns first, before, you know, we looked at like, what's on the, right? Well, it could be, but that's not gonna be on when students, you know, when our game's not going, so it's not an ongoing safety.
I know for a fact that you do. I feel that every day, but you know what? It's terrible. It is. It is. Nobody wants to. Nobody wants to. Other people do the same.
Well, then we need that direction from you, if you want
Yeah.
the field lighting to be the
That's what I
number one
suggested, like-
thing, that'll be our next content presentation.
That's what I suggested before.
I don't remember what they were.
Well, it was just last year.
Here's what I took them in there. So now I'm gonna just address. Okay, we need something to show you. Okay, that it's happening. I'm tired of my friends going to sports. Okay, we need something, whether it's weight room, or count, or the city around your head, whatever. Something that teaches kids that are involved in sports. Or what? You're from a brand. You're from a brand.
That's like this, yeah. They're not for a county. That's high-end definitely. That was really fun. We got people coming over here.
Right, but in the past year, study is an issue. We don't get funding for those kind of situations. But we have through, you know, getting the COVID money and trying to build up a one-time reserve so that we can do those conferences. We do have some funds available to do that now, and we haven't.
Can we bring that back up? Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Just to look at it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Just want to keep it in a second.
No, I haven't got it.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Motion for adjournment.
Wait a minute, can I ask a question to you?
Corey, I didn't, I don't know, maybe you know that, but I didn't.
Okay, sorry.
Second. Thanks to you guys. I've missed